All right, boys and girls, ladies and gents, we are back. Matt with Outdoor Believing here. Earlier this season, you saw that my wife and I both harvested a couple does, and we need to make them into some yummy goodness. So what we're doing today, we got the old meat grinder out. This is I don't even know how old this is. I inherited it. It's a Maverick. It's not very big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do brats today. So we're going to grind it and we're going to stuff some brats. We're going to use this grinder today, and hopefully for another video coming up, I am going to purchase a brand new grinder. I'm hoping within the next couple months to grind up a little bit more and show you guys some more ground jerky and stuff like that. Anyway, what I have here today is 12 pounds of cubed up venison and 3 pounds of cubed up pork fat. It's going to make 15 pounds total, so it's about an 80-20 mixture meat-fat ratio. And for brats, that's really pretty optimal in my mind. That's what I found that I like the most. So we're going to get to grinding, and we're probably going to do 2 grinds on this. We're going to start off with a coarse grind, and then we're going to switch it down to a fine grind. And then we're going to add some pepper jack cheese and a Philly cheesesteak seasoning to the ground meat. And we're going to stuff it into some brats. And hopefully it's going to be amazing. Another piece of advice that I recommend to everybody, when you're grinding meat or making brats or anything, you want to keep everything, 1, as clean as possible, but 2, as cold as possible. So this meat is actually still pretty frozen. That's pretty solid. All the parts to the grinder just came out of the freezer. So these are chilled. If your stuff gets too warm, it's just going to turn the fat into mush, and it'll just ruin your end product. Anyway, so keep everything cold, semi-freeze this, freeze the parts if you can, and underneath this tray I actually have a couple ice packs to keep the bottom of this really cold. And if we have to stop and refreeze stuff for a little bit, we will. But I think we should be good. We should be able to get it done in a good amount of time. So let's get going. It's going to be a little loud, but it's going to end up being delicious. So, and this is really why you want your meat frozen. You want it to be able to, the meat to be loose, not mushy. It looks really good there for the first grind. So we're going to keep going and finish this up. All right, and there we have it. First grind looks great. It was a coarse grind, mix the fat in, looks really good. So that's what you want it to look like on the first grind. Looks really good, the fat's incorporated really nicely. It's still chunky and partially frozen. There we go, we are all set to start the second grind. Throw this in the sink. And we are off and at it. Now I do want to point out, I am doing a double grind. You can do a single grind if you want. You can keep it coarse if you want. It's just, I like the texture of 2 grinds and going to the fine grind better than I do just leaving it coarse. That way it's a smoother brat. If you do leave it coarse, it's pretty good. That's more for like andouille sausage, stuff like that in my mind. So 2 grinds is where it's at for me. And all you need to do is take a little bit of this from the first grind. You're going to ball it up. You're going to put it into the grinder, and it's going to come out just a little bit smaller. All right, guys. I know I said I was going to change the grind plate, but this grinder is getting old, and it's just not cutting it. So I'm going to actually keep it on the coarse grind and just grind it one more time to mix the fat in a little bit better. It's going to turn out really good regardless. So let's finish it up and get this double grind going, and then mix the ingredients in and make the brats.
A few minutes later.
All right, and that's the grind. She is done. Show you what we got. So this is what the grind looks like after grind number 2. That looks about perfect. All right, that looks about perfect. All I have right now is a Philly cheesesteak seasoning, and I have some high temp pepper jack cheese that's chilling to stay cold. We're gonna mix that in. We're gonna mix this in, and we're gonna get stuff in the brats. What I have here is 1.5 pounds of high temperature pepper jack cheese. That's going to be absolutely delicious in this. And then we have a Philly cheesesteak seasoning that I got from my local butcher store that should go with this really well. I've never had this one, so I'm kind of curious to see. I think it's going to pair really good with the pepper jack cheese. So let's get going. And I do want to say that, like I said earlier, keep everything cold. This cheese I actually have frozen right now to make it make the meat colder and just to keep its form and not fall apart and get all melted inside. But it is a high temp cheese, so that shouldn't be a problem. But man, this looks good. These are going to turn out great. You don't want to work the meat too much. Just kind of get a good mix in. That's good for that. And then we're going to start adding the seasoning. Do a little bit at a time. All right, so I got the seasoning and the cheese in here. I'm also going to add some ice water just to kind of make it mix up better. Get that seasoning nice and liquidy instead of powder. And it's going to help it go in the sausage casings. And you know you're doing a good job if your hands are freezing, because this meat is cold. All right, it's getting nice and tacky. I think that's it. I heard that if you can make a patty out of it, just like that, stick it upside down and it sticks to your fingers just like that, it's good enough. It looks really well mixed. So let's make some sausage, some brats. All right, guys, it's finally at that step. We're going to make the bratwurst. All I have here is a Hunt Right 5-pound sausage stuffer. Got the meat, and then I got some synthetic casings, the collagen casings. I'm not a huge fan of the natural casings, so this should work just fine. I'll get about 3 runs through with this, and we're gonna have quite a bit of sausage to go. So to start off with, we are just going to fill this can, and I've never done this, so this is the first time. But from what I hear, you want to try and get all the air out as much as possible and go from there. But if air does get in the casings, you can always poke a little hole in the casing and get rid of that little air bubble. So, man, I love brats. I am so excited for these, to try these. So, if you guys would like the video, if you're enjoying the content, if you want to, throw a comment in there. Let me know if you guys do any type of bratwurst, if you make your own. Some recipes, some mixes that are store-bought, anything. Let me know what's your favorite. I'm curious. So far, like I said, this is the first one that I've tried in a long time. First one I've ever stuffed myself. So I'm excited, and I can't wait to eat some of this. So here we go. We've got just about full. about 5 pounds. We're gonna get that glove off. Put that on there. Now that we got that all taken care of, I got the right piece on here that these actually fit on. What I'm going to do is get the meat, like I said, going almost to the end of it, and then I'm going to stop it and back turn it so it stops. There we go. Stop it, and then I'm going to put the casings on. I'm going to tie this end off. Move this out of the way. And we are going to get going. So, I know you don't want to put too much pressure, but you kind of want to let it fill.
Okay, I'm not going to bore you guys with the rest of this. I had a lot of problems with this sausage stuffer. It was extremely loud. It was my first time ever using one, but you shouldn't have this many problems. Like I said, it was loud. It was hard to crank. You really couldn't get it around without the teeth skipping. So this is pretty much turning into an impromptu product review. I probably won't ever buy another Hunt Right sausage stuffer. I'm not really sure. I'm in the market for a new one. If you guys have any recommendations, let me know.
All right, so there's the first 5 pounds. So these ones are a little tight. I packed them a little too full. So I just got to kind of work it in between each link so I don't get, so it doesn't break on me. All right, guys, I'm done. As you can tell, this is not 15 pounds of brats. This pretty much turned into an impromptu review for that Hunt Right sausage stuffer. It's garbage. I won't ever buy another one. The teeth were catching, or not catching, I should say. So it was skipping. It wasn't stuffing the sausage right. There was a couple little metal shavings on the catch plate above, but I don't want metal shavings in any of my food, so it's more of a hassle than anything. So I'm in the market for a new sausage stuffer. If you guys have any recommendations, please leave it in the comments. Hopefully you liked what I did get in this video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button, let me know. The rest of what I have of the meat is about 3 to 4 pounds. I'm going to turn that into hamburger and make some hamburger patties out of it. And how can you go wrong with Philly cheesesteak, pepper jack cheese hamburgers? So we're going to get these all sealed up. We're going to get the hamburgers all sealed up. And hopefully you guys, like I said, enjoyed the content. And maybe you can process your own venison or beef or anything. Let me know what you guys like the best and your recipes and all that. So until next time, you guys have a good one. Alrighty, boys and girls, there she is, cooked up. Good way to try if your brats are going to be good. Make a little patty, fry her up on the stove. Oh yeah, that's really good. Philly cheesesteak, pepper jack cheese for the win.